immediately, but there you go, another shock dart burned up. I mean, just look, they're using both shock darts and still not destroying the traps. Buzz has gone down on the way through. We've seen Loud do this before. For DRX, the story of today is stopping history from repeating itself. They need to do that here and now. The pistol's still not being dealt with. Sassy will fall, but look at the swing on the back of the site. So much firepower here for Loud, but in the end, they only managed to hold out, not take anyone else from DRX down. RB surviving that round with 1 health, stacks on 10. But DRX still keep that economy in such a flourishing position.
Yeah, and again, it's those fast B takes. I've said it already, like Les has been doing a decent job. I think Pancada even getting the opener there, but it's just, it doesn't seem like the synergy between them is that great. Like, you know, even towards the end of that round, a lot of the duels were able to be isolated just because they were slightly off. And sure, they had weaker weaponry. I think we can give them that excuse, but there was a real opportunity for them to steal that round away. Again, Viper's Pit is going to be online with the Blade Storm on the other side, but unless Buzz gets into some sort of clutch, I don't think he's going to use it.
Yeah, that's just being kept back pocket, or in case he's got some crazy ideas of updraft peaks. Now look, 3 rounds left to play for, and we said seeing the scoreline even wouldn't be too bad for either team, but looking at Loud right now, they have a ways to go to make that happen. DRX with the same approach. The movement up through mid, I mean, they've seen a lot of these trap wires playing on the B site again and again. They know maybe they don't have anything to cover this off. That control will be contested late round by RB. By the looks of it, he is just tucked in and waiting. The timing there was perfect. He saw the barrel. At least I think he might have. Either way, he's got the shot connected. The DRX now selling this massive fake information. There's a player on the A side, he's making a ton of noise, they've got through halls, they could be opening the door. But in fact, the entirety of the team is waiting outside B. This TP was set to go back to mid, and they've reset for a B take.
The thing is, this is going to be spotted. And they can probably hear this above them. They're eventually going to break it, but all the information is going to be there. It's just whether they can delay them enough. And I'm not so sure they can! Aspas within the smoke still manages to find a kill with the operator, evening things up, and they still haven't found his cam in the shrubbery.
Well, Les has gone down, so that'll do the job, but remember, Loud have held on here with pistols for so long in the past. Now, a rifle in hand, and it's the op to grab one. Good timing on the trades, and RB following, even despite some great individual plays there for Loud. DRX always have their bases covered.
They just can't crack B, the defense. They can't do it. Again, every single time, there's a cheeky cam, or a trip, or it's something that they walk into, and they still only lose like 1 or 2 players just because their trading is so effective that the second that player's position is revealed, somebody is there to pincer on it. You even see it there. The shot hits, stacks, instantly Marco swings. It's just that interplay between DRX right now, which is just proving too much to deal with. And for Loud, because they're playing so slow, even though they have these deep information positions, by the time they realize, it's already too late.
And sometimes you would have that being a bad trade, because if you imagine the Jet is further back on the corner and can back out, but there was a player watching that as well, so they actually knew Jet was like in the middle of the wall. Just perfect play, great information coming their way. Pancada for one, the snake bite, making it so much easier to take down Buzz with any weapon, but he takes the Guardian headshot.
Oh my.
And it's return times 2. The pistol's at least able to do something. Rifle retrieved at what cost? No! Zest has taken down all his teammates, and Sadix alone with a sliver of health. Oh, they did so well to start this out, Tom, but again, it's left in a near impossible scenario.
They've got the wrong ults in the wrong place. That's the only thing that really benefits him. But now Zest, he's been able to cross.
They don't even need the ults. 2 shock darts,
the thing is, at this time as well, like you might even just want to use it just for the hell of it. Like, just go, okay, Hunter's Fury will guarantee the round. If he even touches it, let's just make sure he loses. I think DRX have been so strong that they've never really needed this ult for any other reason. And as I said, 1 tag will do enough, but even the time that is being bought is going to be far more problematic. Sadak having to be so careful that even in the late seconds, he's just going to try and stick it. Maybe there's a small angle, but eventually he is going to be wallbanged. DRX controlled again in the afterplant, and 8 rounds already on the attack. As I said, I think Loud are normally better defense. DRX are normally better on attack. It doesn't matter, DRX are smashing them.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, the mold being broken is almost out of the question. They're starting to shatter it.
They won pistol and they've got 3 rounds.
Yeah, but they won pistol and an upset eco round.
Yeah,
remember, Sheriffs, they haven't won a single buy round, and This is just a terrible position to be in. I did love the attempt, though. If Sadek had caught both players with that flash, if they didn't have a Rincon on, they might not have heard him tap it. He might have been able to sneak it out from under their nose, but it wasn't to be this time. Loud not able to get off the early foundation that they built. We're still at that same level, but look at this push coming through. Aspis changing up the game. It is being watched by RB. He might turn his eye at the wrong moment. We've seen timing be such an incredible feature of this game so far, but well, he was spotting it. No kill to be found either way, but early aggression denied from Loud. They'll again find themselves boxed in and playing the same kind of rounds that haven't been fruitful for them so far.
As I said, like, them finding information has been impossible just because how deep DRX have been playing and almost just feeling out the map. It seems like the calls that are coming through from stacks have been sublime, and most of the time they've fallen back. I like this, though. Something different, a mid-walk, trying to take some space, trying to remove some information from the other side, and maybe catching a rotation, but even still, less is going to go down to Buzz. Flash from Sadek will at least slow them down, at least for a second, but they almost need to sprint to get back to B.
And here's the problem, it's Les that died. B side has no utility, trap wires are gone, and Sadek not having a good time in these duels. Sure, you pick up the one, but so much more still to be done. Buzz had popped the Blade Storm here as it's the last round. He's trying to get some wall bang damage in. But as he's reloading, Aspis closes the space. Now he's nice and close, ready to fight, but Buzz takes out the Blade Storm, and he's ready to take hits. One frag to bring him to 3. And with Stacks, Mako, and Zest alive, a Viper's Pit in play, a flash around, damage done, a drone in as well, and it's even getting the tag. Insult to injury here. There's practically no way short of divine intervention that Loud will be winning a buy round in this half, and this is their map pick, Tom. This is their side, and DRX have dismantled them.
Honestly, I feel like we're going to chuck this back over to the desk, and Achilles is going to have the biggest grade. Actually, let's just give it over to him now. He must be over the moon.
And look, I just can't seem to deal with just the clear bias on this side of the table. I'm kidding. But let's actually break this down a little bit here and try and find at least, you know, some high points maybe to talk about here for Loud. Maybe there aren't going to be a lot because they're 9-3.5. This is not the situation that Loud thought they would be in this map pick.
Yeah, there's not a lot of high points to sell. They didn't win a single rifle round in that half. That was DRX domination across the board. And I think the biggest question heading into this map was how will this Cypher play up against DRX? And Les did well individually. He was good. He was killing them. He was awesome. He's a great individual player, but his setups were getting absolutely no value because of the way DRX was playing. They were consistently pounding this B site and dismantling the setups every time, Benkai.
Yeah, it was literally exactly what I said they were gonna do. Like, DRX is a super heavy anti-strat team, and if Loud were gonna run the same comp that they did against Optic, DRX are gonna study the hell out of it, and it is very evident in the shock placement and the way that the drones cleared the path for the Jet to just dash in.
It just feels like a 4-coach difference when we're looking at the first half of that.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, now you're going to the situation, Seth, where we have a Loud that's going to be going on the attack that need to fish out some wins, but I just don't know if they have it.
It's really hard to say because we have a very limited exposure to Loud playing Breeze at this tournament. They only played it versus Optic. They only, you know, after changing sides, need to win, what, 2 more rounds or whatever. They dropped 5 consecutive rounds at the very beginning, losing out the pistol once they swapped over to the attacking side, but eventually they just beat Optic once, they beat him again in a follow-up, and then they were able to take the map. So we don't have that much tape on them, and DRX is still a very strong team. Coming into this one, 70% win rate on the attacking rounds, still above 50 with 55% win rate on the defense. With the way that they're playing right now, the way that Mako is playing right now, good luck getting into a side.
It feels like every single individual is having a great day for DRX. If the Kings of Brazil want to come back, they need something huge.
Yeah, they're going to need to find it right here, right now. Let's send it back over to Tom and Mitch for the second half.
Well, Tom, certainly not a lot of hope for Loud moving into this second half. It is their map pick is probably the only thing I could say, but even then, as we were talking about, and look at that, they've only lost it once this year. The last game that they played, Tom, they did a little bit better on the defense.
They got 11 rounds. Yeah. And even then, it started to look like it could go back in the other direction.
Was it versus a bad team at least?
No, it was versus Optic.
Oh, so a bad team. Oh, right, okay. So,
but like,
versus good opposition.
Yeah. It's going to be really, really difficult for them to turn this around. Obviously, we didn't get to see much of their offense because eventually they closed it out, and although Optic brought it back a little bit, they definitely need a pistol here. And the thing is, as Seth was saying, DRX are no slouches on this defense either.
Well, Loud are certainly upping the pace on the Halls push. We didn't see this for a while coming out of DRX, but right off the rip, that's where they're looking to apply the pressure, split in towards Buzz and leave him all by himself. And he'll get nothing done this time around. A solid connection from that Sheriff. Aspis has been buying up. They'll be able to get a plant and keep very deep control.
Really good opportunity for them here. Aspas playing up close, and already they're just slaughtering the remaining opposition. Stacks left. 1v5. Now, we have seen him do something like this before. I remember a bind. I remember the craziest clutch I think we had in that tournament. But I don't think he has the time to do it. Even any orbs that he can gain would be nice, and he's already starting to spot players behind him. That one should be free. Anything more, though? Yeah, that would be a surprise, and Aspas is going to make sure it doesn't go any further.
I mean, you had pretty much everybody being low. Sassy was the only guy who had close to 100 left with his 5 shields, but in the end, it's just a little too much to ask. Look, that is light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps, but let's remember the previous half. Loud won the pistol, the follow-up, an eco round, and outside of that, they got nothing done. They were caught with their pants down every single time at DRX. Sure, they don't win this pistol either, but if you lose both pistols and you're leading by 5, it's a pretty good spot to be in.
Yeah, and they're not going to really be taking any risks in this round either. Like, basically nothing invested. RB didn't even buy Headhunter bullets. So they really aren't putting anything into this round. It's just like, you know what? We're the kings of the buy rounds. Let's just wait for those to come along. And even still, Buzz has done a little bit of damage. Now, realistically, that means nobody should drop in this round for the side of Loud.
Yeah, especially when you've already got the side control. I think it comes to overextensions, realistically. And with the investment you've got, you cannot allow overextensions to happen. Those mistakes can't be coming through. Now Les is holding back 125 HP. It's going to be a tough fight for Zest. It has to be a whiff from Les to give him any chance, and it's clean as can be. As you said, no Headhunter for RB. Don't really know what he can do here. Maybe try capitalize off that tiny bit of damage his teammate just did, but short of that, it'll be dying to the spike.
It's a really interesting angle to actually try and hold. Obviously, it's one that could allow him to die to the spike later or maybe just catch someone, but I'd be surprised if anybody really went up in that direction. I guess just trying to make sure he's not giving any extra orbs, nothing to play with going into the next, and yeah, he'll go down to the spike instead.
God, it would have been hilarious if they planted in like the further corner.
it just didn't
He's just like staring at the wall like, oh no. Guess I'm playing Headhunter next round. Well, with that, DRX come out 9-5. They have a 4-round lead after losing both pistols and follow-ups, and a near flawless record when they've got rifles in their hands. Funnily enough, I mean when their opponents have rifles in their hands. That's actually flawless. 10 seconds left till the barriers go up, and you can see this is a pretty concentrated push coming out of Loud. I mean, they've got no control anywhere. Trap and a cam watching behind. They're looking to take A in halls.
Yeah, the thing is, I think we're going to see some aggression on the other side. Like, already the Tiger coming through is going to give so much information that look at the rotation. Look straight away, DRX. 3 players on this side. A 4th one going through mid. They're going to have so many players here.
They need that. With the preference already shown to move towards this site right away from the pistol round. It's wise for DRX to still have players stacked up around here. Aspis on his way towards the site, clearing through. Buzz gets dropped. And Aspis is now making his way to the doorway, but that's when he gets caught by Zest. They had a little trap set up on back yellow and halls. They've secured the control, and from here they'll look to fight their way back into the site. But look at how far back Loud have gone to.
Yeah.
They are all the way in the spawn. I mean, Mako's already fired off his snake bites, so he won't have anything to work with, whereas Pancada's got his. You've got 2 shock darts to work with, and I believe the orb should be on the spike as well.
That's going to be a lot of afterplants. They at least managed to clear out the lurker. That means they are all coming from the same position, but with utility removed, and as you mentioned, basically so much damage being taken as they go anywhere near that spike. There shouldn't be much of an opportunity. Has got into half, and then RB just wipes out everyone else. I don't know if they're going to have enough time to actually get the defuse through. That's the only issue they have! 0.88! What a retake from DRX! That looked like there was no hope, but just quick clearance of that flank, and then just wiping out everyone else.
Unbelievable. I mean, DRX did everything right. That was the one situation in the multiverse that got them the win, and it's this swing from RB cleaning the last 2, buying the time, and buying the time, even then, it's less than a second that it comes down to 5 between them. And if you're Loud, that's a devastating loss. But because of the way they played the early round, and we saw this before, they are able to come back in here with a buy. Ultimately, though, I think they'll look at it like, if we can't close a round like that, then it doesn't matter if we're buying. They've got to solve those issues. That cannot happen again.
Walk up the tube. They managed to get quite far in the last round with not so much of a challenge. It has been spotted by Zesta straight away. They're going to pop out that null command, the flash to try and take that extra space, although we haven't seen the move yet from Aspas, but the dash across will give an opportunity. No trade back, though.
You know, Sadic's only down on the stairs, but I don't think anyone's going to be getting him up. He's at least a Cypher cam for now. Spotting it out. No one's walking up to yellow. Can feed that info over. Zest waiting for him to pass, and then they'll start to make their move. Again, look at what they're up against. Shock darts for Sassy, but no snake bites in play for Pancada. They'll be playing up a lot closer to the site this time, trying to catch them as they make their way through. Sassy, first point of contact perhaps, and well, the shots are hit clean as can be. That's a much better hold out of Loud.
Yeah, and I like the fact that this time they actually have a proper setup out of the door. They know it's okay, we can take this control relatively easy. We have ourselves the null command, which will shut out all of the utility of those passive players, so it means that our entry in towards the A site will have no utility to delay us either. And then you're just able to use Aspas as like, okay, I'm the distraction plan as my IGL peaks to take the fight. Really solid setup from them. After plant, much more stable, and this time there was nothing DRX can do. And that's likely a theme that's going to continue into this next round, because they don't have much available to them whatsoever.
I did enjoy the fact that, you know, the round before, we saw Aspas walking up halls, open the door, and then what he ended up meeting was Mako's Poison Orb. A really interesting setup. Normally when you open that door and try to play the late round lurk, you're going to be hoping that one of them closes it, gives you the info that they're at least there, maybe starts to distract the player watching halls. But instead, these guys were content to play retake, to watch for the push coming up and catch Aspas, because they had that orb to block the vision whenever they needed it. They didn't have to go and close the door immediately and panic about the extra angles. But then you adapt to that and you say, okay, so the slow play with a late lurk in through halls is not working because they have a good adaptation. Let's just get past that poison orb. Let's just get past defense number 1 and see what the response is. And this time it leads to, well, the first buy round that Loud have been able to take across the line.
No. On the other side of things, maybe if Buzz gets a kill, gets an orb, might be able to do something in this round, but ultimately, they're just opting to try and stack up into this A side. 4 players already hit. Already managing to spot out 1, but RB has avoided it. I think they're trying to bait in a swing, knowing that somebody's close. However, DRX very willing to just be patient in this scenario, and they have a screen of their own just to try and make this push through a little bit more awkward.
Toxin screen down.
A couple of sheriffs in play, in particular Mako stood slightly further back on that A site. The headhunter for RB, the fall back to yellow, and he can continue to pick them from there. Who destroys this? It looks like it's going to be RB. Oh, it's not even. He's not going to destroy it. Sticking around, making them spend some utility. I like it. He's now back to yellow. Snake bite to slow them. And this is going to offset Loud's utility.
They know 3 players are here. They have seen Chamber. They saw Jet at the beginning of the round. And then they've just seen a snake bite. So this rotation from Loud is just based off the utility that they've already spotted. And they might have even seen a player in mid as well. So this leaves it very safe to go in towards this B site, knowing there can't be a stack of players.
There's a late round push from Buzz, though. He's already detected these players rotating, but DRX are a little late to the party. Stacks gonna have to hold on a moment before support comes through, and well, as the cavalry arrives, it's only the 1 kill. Minimal resistance being met by Loud as they make their way in. The plant still not coming in. That was the spike that they dropped in a follow-up by Mako. Makes it super costly, but nothing else to be found. And Loud 1 step closer to equalizing the scoreline. That was, of course, an eco, though, and DRX still made it look a little bit competitive, considering the rotation timing was off as well.
I think the read from Loud was good, though. That was the main thing. It was just using the information that you garnered to pick the weakest spot in these sort of eco rounds. They didn't have to use much in terms of their ults either, although on the other side, Viper's Pit, Hunter's Fury, Bladestorm is not going to be the nicest thing to try and face off against. The thing is, though, for DRX, they've got to be careful, because I think this round slips the other way, game on.
Absolutely. Yep, the lead that they had, as we said, losing both pistols, it was remarkable. But if they don't make this one look a little better, then you start to really get worried. Remember, this is Loud's map pick. You know, we can look at the last game versus Optic, but as you said, you didn't get to see that much of their attacking side, and maybe it would have been strong enough to make us believe. 120 on the clock, DRX not going for the info game. Similar to what we saw from Loud. Passive play, looking for a pick here or there. Get the attempted play around middle, but this up here for Aspas, it almost caught vision. It was so close to finding Mako swinging out on either side, but they are missing each other by milliseconds on some of these peaks.
The thing is as well, they can't really beat any rotations because they just flashed outside of B on the side of DRX and got the info that there was somebody there. So they're not wanting to shift any of their positions just yet. They're also throwing the drone in from the attack side in towards this A site, and actually they have baited out the Hunter's Fury, but it's not going to get anything as they now push B.
He's realized immediately as well, and there's the kill off the back of, oh my god, absolute desolation. There was a smoke down and they just spray through it. Kill after kill going DRX's way. You saw that 2 bursts of that Hunter's Fury go out and it gets canceled, and he's thinking, okay, this is a B play. Rotation was in right away, and the guys on site, they held it for longer than they even should have. That spike is down in the open, and it is concretely theirs. There's no safe way to retrieve this. Sassy's picked up the operator, and he is heading for the hills with 5 seconds on the clock. There's no chance they take this round. All they want is to set themselves up for the next.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we are just seeing the utility used from DRX being able to work things out. Because I was looking at the A side and thinking, okay, there's definitely some vulnerabilities there, but it was more just because they were so reliant on that Hunter's Fury. They went, okay, that will get us information, do a lot of damage on the way through if they try and push it. And the second they don't spot anything, the orb goes up. And that's the big thing. Now, one of the things I really wanted to mention, so I was speaking to Kanyang, obviously on your screen there, the CEO. He's with Juani, who is also one of the coaches of the current coach, Termi. So we have got a long lineage at the moment of like esports veterans in the DRX camp, and well, I'm sure right now they're having a pretty good time. Although he did say, I saw him with a sign last time saying he was going to like give them a big bonus. So.
Oh, Mako, he's in a little bit of trouble, but they've gone right past him. They have no idea he's been revealed though. It took a little long, but as he got spotted, that at least allows them to drop him, drop the pit, and get onto the site. Here comes the spray. Buzz not able to land it. Shock darts on their way. Oh, and I don't even know how he's controlled it. I don't know that he meant to kill him, but he's got the frag. Still, numbers won't equalize as Aspas keeps on going. A 3rd kill in this round, and only Buzz left to find. He's hit him to 39, and with 3 players left to drop, Loud seem to have stolen this round away. What a play by Aspas, and Buzz, he is just looking for absolutely anything. No information to work with, and in the end, he's going to be shot in the back by Pancada.
Yeah, like you see that operator in play and you almost expect it to be on Aspas, but instead he is leading the charge, taking that space, a crazy final shot as well, and they actually dealt with what was quite a dangerous position better than I expected. I think with the fact that Marco gets past it, but then just being spotted by the drone, a little bit unlucky in that regard, but this is the superstar level Aspas that we sort of expect to see on this team. 11-8. Luckily, again, just having that Chamber and Jet combo is going to bail out the side of DRX in terms of their finances, but after this round, it'll be a little bit more troublesome.
Well, DRX going straight in for the aggression with RB, but he's spotted, tagged up, and he's got to get out of here. Again, early denial of this aggression has been such a strong feature for both of these sides on the attack. They've denied the pushes down halls. Now, the push that was coming down through the elbow. Hunter's Fury. It's caught Zest for 1, but you won't get the follow-up. Still decent damage done, but the snake bites also stop any further aggression from coming through. You can't take space off the back of it when you still have that utility up against you. But the good thing is it's burnt down now, and so that's a big worry for these players.
I almost wonder if that was being used as a distraction. Just try and get the mid player's attention to allow Les to take a little bit of extra ground, because in that whole fight, he was just moving his way forward. Or even just try to bait some rotations, but nobody moving. Marco is going to throw down another snake bite, which again will buy a little bit of extra time. But the next time out, there's not going to be much to stop them.
Yeah, the drone at least has already been expended. Now they have an idea of where Buzz is, and the nades lit him down. He's 30-24. Shots ringing out. He's still alive, but he won't get anything done past damage. Aspis, this is not a conventional spot to run the operator in. Maybe the element of surprise can come through, but no. RB is the one instead to pick up that kill. Still more Loud players alive than DRX. And look at the position of Les. That is nasty.
Yeah, the other two are saving. They're almost just saying, okay, tour de force, you don't have a weapon, just try and do some damage in this round, try and make things as costly as possible, and well, he'll get nothing more. That lurk again has just been causing issues. Being able to take that space late in the round, almost as a separate member of this squad. And now he's trying to remove the remaining weapons. He's been spotted by Zest. You can see that Stax is somewhat torn between two spots, and Zest actually goes and peeks him. Not the man you want to be fighting on Loud at the moment. Sat right at the top of that board. And well, mentioned the finances. Now DRX are going to be in a little bit of trouble. Stax should at least have a rifle. No! Lats is going to clear him out in the last second of the round. And now all they can really commit to this is going to be the Blade Storm.
A timeout called by DRX. So little to work with, and so many gaps in play right there. Definitely the right time to go back to the drawing board at 11-9. That lead that was looking so strong. Coming into this half, 9-3 up, and they've only gotten 2 since then. With Loud now hot on their heels, I mean, this round's probably conceded a little bit. Maybe they can get something to work, but realistically, it's probably 11-10.
Yeah, I really want to see DRX try and challenge into mid and tube. I think that's been one of the main problems for them, is the fact that because mid seems to be almost just Les's domain, they can't really play retake. There's nowhere for the players to fall back to just in case he's taken that deep control. And then the tube, you've just seen the amount of rounds where there was a round with Aspas and Sadak where they flash out. The last round where the opening kill comes from Aspas just being able to open and just get a free kill. Like, these are all positions that DRX just can't allow this man to have for free. And sure, when he's got an operator, it's a little bit risky to challenge that directly, but I think it's something they have to try and do over the next couple of rounds, because there are so many just pincer plays onto that A site that they just can't deal with.
Les still stealing that top spot on the scoreboard. He has had such a good tournament. And especially when you consider last half, he was just on the B site that they lost every single time and trying desperately to hold on against a barrage of DRX utility. And you see the difference as well for DRX when they're not able to pressure you like that. They can't quite put Loud on the back foot, at least so far on this defensive half. They have struggled to. And a read here that just is not correct. DRX going for a gamble towards A. 3 players there, 1 in the halls. And instead, it looks like it's going to be Stax that's left to do it all with a Sheriff in hand, no shields, no flashes.
It's all about timing, and that's the thing. They're moving quickly enough that I don't think DRX are going to be anywhere near this site. The hope would be that they could have run around behind and found something, but no. Basically, you're reliant on Stax killing everyone.
So the orb is still down on the B site, so it's at least going to slow them on the way through. Maybe decay them a little bit, but, well, Les has just put himself above 20 kills. He's on 21 now. And this spot is being watched. Oh, the timing could not have been worse. Good trade at least, but it does little to bridge the gap in this round. 2 versus 4. Now Plant, you know, it went down so long ago.
Last player standing.
Oh my God, just tearing them apart. I felt like he's been doing more on this attacking side. After DRX did so well to decimate his setups, this round he just played pure entry fragger. And while RB, he's going to have a buy in the next round anyway, so might as well try and get something, but nothing for it. I also want to lean back to what you mentioned about Les and his performance in this tournament so far, because he's been one of the players that has really shifted away from just playing Chamber. And you look at some of the best maps they have. Okay, this one was what we saw prior in the tournament. He's moved back over to Cypher, an agent that is quite far out of the agent pool on a lot of maps. He's also gone back to Killjoy on Ascent, and that is their best map. So a lot of the things that they're almost surrounding a lot of their plays around is this man as an anchor on a site, and he has been superb.
So here for Sadik, 5-1 so far this half, and first kills to first deaths. I mean, that is impressive. Just using those flashes perfectly to get through some of this utility for early engagements between him and Aspas. They've been doing a fantastic job. Buzz now looks to upset that statistic, with Sadik being the man challenged right away. The dash already activated. I mean, he's got that get out of jail free card, but he just doesn't seem worried. He's still sticking around. I mean, he's got the cover of RB, so putting a lot of stock in his teammates.
It's also, it was just the health. I was like even if you do manage to dash, normally you take a couple of bullets worth of damage. Again though, this tube spot has just caused them so many issues. They're gonna get the information. The Aspas is here, but I'm gonna be honest, I think you probably could have worked that out anyway.
Yeah, some simple deduction of the previous rounds. A quick TP back, they even see where RB's gone to, and they know Buzz has been playing around here as well. There's the flashes from Sadek. No reward this time, a nade to go through. That's a deep nade for Stairs, and it might give Aspas the angle. They're trying to push players out of position with their utility. Oh, that's a whiff! Okay. Aspas leaving the 62 HP Buzz alive, and he's lost his life for that attempt. DRX with a man advantage, but they have to play into the pit.
Yeah, and they've also actually put trips inside it as well. Such a nasty setup. Sadek actually goes swinging though. I don't know if there was a pop flash off the back of that, but it didn't catch anyone if there was. Utility being expended just to try and slow this down as much as possible. Everybody going to be desperately low as they try and push through, and Pancada is just killing them off. He knows the lineup, he knows where the spike is, and they need to get rid of him, and they just can't. A solid afterplant from Loud. From such a desperate scenario, we now sit 11-11.
DRX looked like they had this one in the bag, but now the pressure is truly on. An equalized scoreline for the Korean side is just devastating, and they need to make up for it coming into the next two.
Mitch, map 1 versus FPX, 1917.
Yeah.
Map 1 versus, in the previous series before that, 1860.
Yeah.
Map 1 in the previous series before that, 1614. DRX and map 1s have been quite long.
I remember speaking to Stacks about that in the interview. It's like, man, what is it that just keeps bringing you to these long games? Like, how do you have the stamina for that? And he doesn't really know. I don't think any of us do. I don't know why it has to happen, but DRX, they need that little time to wake up in second halves. Look, 11-11 is not the end of the world, but momentum's in Loud's favor. As I said, this is their map, their comfort level high. The same for DRX, but now that we're coming to the penultimate round of this half of Indeed regulation, DRX have only got Sheriff's Headhunter on RB, a Marshall for Zest. They haven't had a lot of success in this round. That said, this is the exact same buy where Loud found their only round outside of the first two on their defense.
Again, they're setting up into this A site. Now there is pressure down mid this time, trying to watch, but the timing just hasn't gone their way. It's just an anomaly. Buzz though, within this corner, it's a nasty surprise hiding behind the screen, and Marco, while he's causing a distraction, manages to get one. Even still though, just like DRX, things start to stabilize. But again, it's left onto Stacks. The rotator, the B defender, looking to try and battle and brawl, and unfortunately, the Sheriff this time is unkind. Loud, 12-11, from a huge deficit, look to take their map choice after 5 rounds in a row.
Well, there's a new Sheriff in town here on Breeze. Loud came in looking like they were down and out in this half. Faith was at an all-time low in the Brazilian side, but now just look at that scoreline. Not only are they in the lead, but they are on map point here, and you can see DRX are not happy with that. We said this is a game, a tournament for DRX. Hell, this whole year has been about trying to break the mold, stopping around this point in the last 2 tournaments, losing to Optic again and again, and now another green wall awaits them. The attacking side needs one more, but the rifles are out for DRX, and an aggressive push from Buzz. He hasn't had the success here. Damage is all they've netted, and this time, nothing.
One of the factors that has worked well for them in the series so far is the fact that they've managed to win in these overtime scenarios. The fact that they haven't had that tough loss yet. It's been 2-0s all the way through. The build-up, though, heads in towards this site once again. And Sadek, once more, is going to cause them issues around this door.
They're going in.
Look at Les.
They're making their way, and Les has the lurk, and the rest of the players, in particular Aspas, already through. They'll drop Sassy, but he's trying to wrap on the back of the pyramids. No one spotted him. That's massive. Only one, though. The trade comes in quickly. DRX attempting to hold on. They don't want to be beaten down out of this map, and it looks like they might have it, but Les coming up behind for the one. A little bit of disruption, a reveal to come through, the information there, but the spike is on the floor. They have 30 seconds to regain control of this site, and it's the man of RB, the operator, in, and he's gone! What a shot from Sadek! That could be the kill they needed. The plant to come through, and the late push through cave will not find them. They've got a post plant.
That's the thing, they had the trip. It had to be broken by Stacks. He was hoping that he could lurk through from behind, but the fact is, Less never really dies early. And he's waiting and watching for Zest to try and come through. This battle is going to be everything. 2 1v1s almost being taken. Less is going to put one down. It's down to Stacks again. He tries to bait the swing, but it's all over. Loud, every team has struggled to close out map 1 versus DRX. They don't even need overtime. They'll do it in regulation.
We heard it from Benkai on the desk that he believed after all of these events, after all the whiffs, the chokes late into tournaments, the curse would be broken. The narrative would be rewritten this time, because surely DRX had learned to deal with the pressure, but this time, Tom, it's the green team coming ahead again. This is devastating.
So Benkai, he can correct me if I'm wrong. It's second ever desk, yeah? Second ever desk, and Mitch has just thrown you under the bus. Straight under it already. He's like, yeah, Benkai said this, and then, well, look what happened. No, the pressure being on them now, and this is the thing, and I'm sure it's something the desk will definitely cover. They've had all of these long maps, this first map versus FPX, 100 Thieves, and Furia, and every single time they won. You get that relief, even if you were ahead, behind, no matter what, you get the relief, you go into second map, and that's where they've looked strong. Not 10 rounds in the second map every single time. Now they're on the back foot. Now they're on the other side, as Loud have managed to turn this into a victory from what looked like imminent defeat, as you mentioned. They didn't win a single buy round in the first half of this game. They go into the side that normally is weaker for them, and they barely lose a round.
Considering they win the pistol to start, even one of those pistols going the other way,
yeah,
this game's already over. There were so many small things, and that final round gotta be the straw that breaks the camel's back mentally. Resetting from this, we talk about close losses as being one of the hardest things to deal with as a team, and normally we mean that in the sense of a team is ahead, you start to make a comeback and then fall short. So like, we just started a little earlier, but having it within your grasp and then it slips through, that has got to be devastating. I mean, we're going to give these guys a break to reset. That's one of the biggest challenges DRX are going to have to date. Let's toss it off to a break. When we come back, we'll hear from our analyst desk about map 2. It is DRX's pick.
Yeah, that's true. Do they have the stones?
Red Bull Campus Clutch is back. Assemble your team and lead it to the World Final. Register now for your national qualifier.
There is only one God. There. One God. There. One God. There. One God. There. I'm searching for
For me, it takes more faith to believe in evolution than it does creation. Because they have no explanation for those particles.
Well, for DRX, that certainly took a turn for the worse as Loud get the win, 13-11. No OT necessary as the Brazilian squad closes it out. Of course, I'm Golden Boy alongside Mimi, Achilleos, and we're joined by PRX's very own Benkai here. And, Benkai, you had some great point of views regarding how DRX were going to approach their attacking half. And it all came to fruition. But where do you think things went wrong when we flipped sides? Because it felt like the DRX plan kind of went to pieces.
Yeah, so first off, Loud had an amazing attacking side. And they had really good A splits in the late game where they went through halls, and DRX didn't really have an answer for those kind of plays. And DRX, what I felt as an in-game leader was that they weren't proactive enough with their pushing and their flanks. Like on my team, I have a heavy emphasis on if you see a team like Loud play after plant situations, always from the back, Viper mollies and all that stuff, you have to flank them.
Yeah.
And not once did DRX flank them, and the Cypher trips were never broken. That Cypher trip at A main was there for pretty much the entire half.
Damn.
And that's what I thought DRX could really do better in terms of how they could make their defending side.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, right? You want to try and punish, on the flank there, especially with the setups, Mimi, that we were seeing from Loud. But now, DRX find themselves in a situation where they could have realistically won this game. They were in the driver's seat the whole time, and it seems like they just, I don't know, had a flat tire. Yeah,
it really does. This was a game that came down to how well can the defenders hold the site? And for both these teams, they really struggled with it. First half, DRX is pounding B over and over again. It was the opposite story for Loud, but it was pretty much the same outcome. There was round after round where Loud just had these really well put together executes and were able to take the site and win out those posts with the issues from DRX that you were saying, Benkai. But I think there was a few of these rounds where it was just A over and over again. And then there was this one, round 20, that was an absolute tipping point because Les came out on this absolutely massive lurk and killed all three of the players that were trying to save. He absolutely crippled DRX's economy. And it wasn't just this round. It was a consistent performance from Les in the second half. He was utterly shut down on the defense, but on the attack, this guy stepped up big time.
Oh, no, he was just tearing them apart the entire time. But one of the other things, crucially here, that we typically don't see from DRX is that they drop both of the pistol rounds. They have been very consistent about picking those up. This is looking a lot more like old school Vision Strikers where they could never win pistol rounds, but the difference is they actually won all the maps. They didn't win the map this time around. So I need to see them going into Haven, being able to win those initial rounds because it's such a big boon.
Yeah, I think the main difference for me on both of their defending side was even though they didn't get that many points, the only difference was with Loud, they had Pankada always going on the flank and disrupting the afterplan and causing that chaos so that the other side that's retaking has a lot of space to push them back.
Yeah, and I think this game, particularly in that first half, was defined by these two controller players. Pankada has had a consistently fantastic tournament. This map, he showed up both in that first half and in the second when they were playing on that attack as well. But Mako too, Seth, was having a great game for himself.
He was looking fantastic on that attack, but then once we swapped sides, I mentioned it during the halftime show, like this guy, what a great side anchor. He can just hold things down and really just stave off the waves of, the attackers coming through, but we didn't quite get to see that whatsoever from him and from everybody else. It just seems like once they shifted sides and once they dropped that other pistol round, they couldn't quite start getting things strung together. It just started to fall apart.
You simply just cannot allow Loud to get back into the game. Sure. Because if they have that opening, if they have that opportunity, they will go for it. They have players. I think Tom had a really great point on the desk or on the cast, where he was saying that every player on Loud performs. Every player on Loud contributes equally to this team. And on the opposite side for DRX, you kind of get the vibe that it's like if certain players get shut down, maybe the whole system starts to fall apart. But actually, that brings us to our Verizon high-speed moment of the match because we selected Auspis from Loud, and this just goes to show, Mimi, it's like any player at any point in time can just have this pop-off potential, and that's scary.
Yeah, Auspis had some really great moments in the second half. I think him and Les in particular with the rally that they made was a huge part of making that comeback happen.
Heartbreaker, without a doubt, for DRX, but now we have to look forward here, right? And I think before we head into our second map of this one, and let's take that time to do this. Let's do an aim lab shoot around with RB. Talk about DRX and what they're going to do is RB starts popping some bubbles here because we are going to be going to Haven for map 2. And Seth, we said it before, I think we were saying it before the cast, like there's a strong potential DRX closes this out in 2-0, but this is not doom and gloom for DRX because of what we have coming up next.
No, not at all. My opinion was that it was a necessary win for Loud if they want to stay in this series, because if they dropped on Breeze and DRX picked that one up, it very likely is going to be a 2-0 victory. Obviously, Loud, though, with that rally back, you can't discount them basically in any situation whatsoever. They are a top-tier team, but Haven is just... I mean, it's exactly that. It's a safe haven for DRX. It is such a known map.
Can we run the graphic? I don't know.
No,
Maybe another time. Maybe another time.
no time for the segment, I don't think.
No funny business left in this one because it is serious for DRX here. I wanted to ask you, Benkai, when you're in this position where you have like a clear lead, you feel like you're going to win a map, it slips away from you, but you're still in the series. What does it take to kind of come back and be able to find a good performance through the rest of the series?
A lot of it comes down to the coach, really. That's my opinion. Because sometimes you need someone outside of the team to see what's going on and just to really calm everybody down. And sometimes the IGL just isn't able to do that, especially if he's not having a good game.
Yeah.
And if he's as emotional as Stax portrays himself to be, then if he starts getting shut down, I can see DRX just
kind of falling apart.
Yeah,
falling apart at the seams. That is a very, very astute point there. But if you're just joining us, by the way, and you maybe tuned into map 1, you're like, DRX got this in the bag. Did not happen as Loud win 13-11. Critical rounds flipping over to Loud that DRX certainly were not expecting, and we take the game over to Haven, Mimi, and DRX. We know that this is a great map for them. We know that they have something potentially, or not that we know, but we hope that they have something potentially up their sleeves here at Icebox, but they kind of leave themselves in a very precarious position.
They really do. I thought that Breeze was going to be a solid one for them, but Loud obviously come out, do make that comeback happen. Now on Haven, I know, Seth, you were leaning pretty heavily towards DRX here. I might disagree, because what I saw from Loud in their game versus Leviathan, I was really impressed with the way that they were playing that kind of double initiator comp with Auspice on the Raze. I mean, that game was dominant on one of the best maps for Leviathan.
Oh no, for sure. I don't mean to discredit them whatsoever. I mean, obviously we've seen each of these teams play it once a piece, and it has been very dominant in both of those games. It was the 13-4 over Furia for DRX, and as you said, the 13-6 over Lev. So both teams are just incredibly good at every single map that's in this pool for the most part. So Haven is not going to be by any means easy, but let's see what happens.
All right, Prime Gaming Agent Select. Benkai, I want you to start here. Tell us what you think we're going to end up seeing for both teams.
Right now, it kind of looks like DRX is going for their El Clasico lineup. That's the one, yes. You always see them run this one. This is their most comfortable agent composition. Like, you see them running this like slow default, make a call at 1 minute, going with the breach and just play the afterplant, park him under heaven. And you see Loud going for like a more up-to-date composition, I would say, with the chamber.
Kind of like a 2.0.
Yeah, and there's going to be quite a bit of pressure on Les to get the opening picks and to disrupt DRX from coming and executing into those bomb sites.
Yeah, Les, I think the pressure is very much with him. But the player I look at in this composition is Pencata playing on this Omen. I think it's a very comfortable role for him. And I think he does a great job almost being a third initiator at times, helping to set up Auspice for success on that race.
I mean, we look at Pencata playing his Omen on many different maps, particularly the Ascent performances that he's been able to put up. And oftentimes he is top ranking, much like we were seeing in that initial starting half on Breeze. But like Benkai was saying, this is kind of like bread and butter. Obviously, some new changes, some new faces, given that Fade is now in the meta, so Zest has picked that one up. But typically, you'd see something very similar to this from DRX in the past, and you just put the Sova in there instead of the Fade.
Yeah, for me, this is a game about Sentinels. It's going to be Les, who had a fantastic map 1, RB, who also performed, but now he's on the Killjoy. Traditionally, that's been a little bit more comfortable for him.
All right, Benkai, before we send it over, I want to get a little cheeky prediction from you. What do you think we're getting? Team on map 3?
Just based off the comp, I think if Loud plays their defending side well and they don't let DRX execute into the bomb site, I can see Loud taking this one.
Oh, all right. Well, this is a guy that was a staunch supporter of DRX, but he thinks there's a path to victory for Loud. Let's send it over to Mitch and Tom, and hopefully they don't throw Benkai under the desk again.
Hey, listen, I didn't mean to cause anything here, Benkai. I love you, bro. At the end of the day, he was right about one thing. DRX's comp. I'm sure he was right about more than that. I'm sorry, that came off like a diss as well. I love you, Benkai. realistically, their comp was fantastic for the attack. You could see the control they had. You could see that they were ready for Loud. They were 100% on board in that previous map in the first half. Now we bounce into Haven, and the question is, can they reset?
At least he doesn't flip-flop as much as GB. Like, that's at least something. Like, that man is maybe as much on the fence as Van Silly. But either way, we are going to be getting into Haven. I think this is going to be a fun map because it is a slight difference in styles. So you've got DRX who are very good at their afterplant. So you're going to have RB with his nice little lineups to try and almost just cause problems with the utility. On the other side of things, I expect this defensive side from Loud to be quite aggressive. You're going to have Aspas with utility combining with Sassy, and then you're also going to have Les just basically trying to push the boundaries of the map and really get in on those early fights.
Well, Tom, it looks like barriers are about to go up, and the attack side of DRX put to the test. Got RB separated out from the team, watching any push coming in through doors. He'll set up his turret, move around, and become the normal chamber trap that you see, watching for the push in through the window, just taking that control. The rest of the team wants to pressure A, but Loud have a very similar idea. The Paranoia is ready. A stun in hand as well. This could be dangerous. Paranoia on its way. It only connects on one, though. The rest of the team swinging. The kills don't go their way to start, but they recover nicely.
Yeah, that actually went a lot better than expected. Sassy, though. The timing could be wonderful. Not expecting a fourth player to be here so soon, and now it's all up to Buzz. He's being pincered from behind as well. He has to be very careful of that. Is wary that that flank could be coming through, but look at them teaming up together. Loud not wanting to give him a 1v1.
Yeah, it's just perfect play. There's really very minimal openings for Buzz to come in here. 100 HP on both players. He's got to be connecting the headshots on the way around this corner. The trades will be quick. Already the hump back online for Sassy. And in a moment, that's going to be thrown out. There you go, clearing off long. And now they know exactly where he's coming from. At least for the next couple seconds, they'll have their sights set on short. There's the swing, and it's closed out by Sassy with a phenomenal peek back through on short, dropping the spike, and the final player, Loud, have gone 3 for 3 in pistols.
Yeah, and an exciting idea as well. I think we're going to see a lot more stuff like that. The fact is they don't even combine alongside that fade either, which is the normal way you're going to be pressuring over onto that A site, so clearly showing that there's a lot more depth. Now, there's no surprise for me that the Haven stats for DRX are very good. This has been a map that I think they've been consistently one of the best in the world for probably over a year and a half. Like, it is absurd how good they are at sort of creating on this map, and I think that's why we still have this sort of, well, vintage setup for them on the agent pool.
Yeah, it's not one that I'm against in any way. Oh my! Buzz has got some good ideas to dash in the shorty. Sadek under pressure, but picking up every single kill. Walked away with 4. The ace possible! Les has stolen it. He's taking it away from him, but that would have actually given him the Rolling Thunder as well, so that's kind of rude, but okay.
You know, I need my one orb that's going to go towards the Tour de Force.
I'm pretty close to Tour de Force, man. I'm pretty close. Let me get it.
Of course, a Prime Gaming Flawless. Exactly what you want to see as well from Loud, because they are a team that normally likes to go in quite heavy in these purchases. But yeah, a single kill coming through here for Sadak could be a pretty nasty scenario for DRX, as they are not close to having any of those ults online. But as we saw in the last map, they are pretty good in buy rounds.
Well, that is the truth. Buy round coming up right here and now, and the disruption play was to try a seize nade into mid. Loud don't get any reward for that. DRX playing nice and far back to start with. They've got a turret down. I believe that's inside the smoke on A, so no, not even a chance for a player to sneak in and get a little bit closer. But ultimately, when you look at this early round, DRX have gotten nothing done. This was very much waiting for the aggression of their opponents. I think that's why they're even filtering into mid now to try and clear out off the C-Snade that no one's pushed down. And with nothing seen, this is a little bit awkward. To play these kind of rounds with a minute on the clock before you leave your spawn, it means that you could be running into players in nasty little corners at any moment.
Yeah, and they've already used up both the Prowlers as well.
Yep.
So any spot they now push is going to have a sort of dry peak risk to it. But already, they managed to take control fairly easy. The counter utility coming out though, and actually the Aftershock is going to delay, but not stop.
He's gone in, off the back of the flash. Aspas has absolutely no fear, trading out Sadik. A rifle now to be retrieved, potentially. His teammates pushing down on A long, though, so far away. This is going to probably be a reset on timing, just to allow that little bit of extra positioning for Loud. They've done well to trade out the numbers like that. A little bit of HP taken off of Aspas, though.
The spam. not far away from doing some damage. I almost feel like there's a possibility they're just trying to lock them in at this point. Less waiting for some sort of distraction to be made, and Buzz, he wants to try and fight around the smoke, repositioning to join up with his teammates, and he just isn't missing a beat. Finally, he's put down by Sassy, but that flank is watched from Marco, and it leaves just Sassy alone. And this time, he's not going to be able to fight anything back. Retreating with the rifle, they'll still have a purchase, of course, coming into the next round, but DRX, after what was a little bit of a shaky start, looked pretty good.
Yeah, that definitely could have gone a lot worse. They only lose the 2 players coming out of that round, but again, the benefit of these early economic rounds, winning the pistol, first of all, but then the way they follow that up over on Loud, giving themselves these rifles to still duel with, making sure that they're going for those trades. Like, Sadek had the rifle, he goes down, and straight away Aspis is on the swing, ready to take that kill. Making value of those Spectres off the trades alone, so 2-1. As we rock into this round, you can see there's a couple players low on credits for DRX, so a really good opportunity for Loud to walk away with this early half.
Yeah, same for either side though. It's going to be a swing round in terms of that economy. Less already going to do a little bit of damage. We've seen the same aggressive push in towards short. Now they haven't actually used a lot of the combo utility just yet. The nade and the C's still online, but with this peak spotting absolutely nothing, they might actually want to start gambling a rotation back away from this side of the map.
So in the previous round I said it was the turret, but I realized it was the alarm bot that's been outside of A. They've had to pull that back. I'm not sure that Loud were close enough to hear it though. They've still got 2 players in position on the A site, so this push is going to have to be held off by the other 3. And immediately they've lost less and conceded the control. They're going to have to play for the post plant on this. They have got a rolling thunder to work with, and that's going to be the point man of the round. But look, a little bit too close was Buzz. They've taken him down anyways. I don't know if they saw him through the smoke, but no plan for DRX, no control, and now a man disadvantage. They've even lost Zest on the way back. They're completely trapped, and the nade is hunting them down.
Yeah, they're now stuck in the mud. They either need to push Aspas, who's going to have a teammate looking to support him in the form of Pancada, so even if they get that kill, they're still locked in, and they've only got 20 seconds to play with, so they'd have to just run straight towards this B site. I almost wonder if it's just worth saving the guns instead. They are going to look for that fight, and Marco, well, he gets a single kill before eventually going down. Really solid stuff out from Loud, because the fact is, the initial battle in that round didn't go to plan. The idea is Les maybe gets a kill, get out, but instead, he goes down. He even had the rendezvous allowing him to go out of the site, and then they were going to play retake. It didn't work out, and they still managed to get into that site quickly enough and stop them from getting the plant.
And really, you look at Buzz, he got past the rolling thunder, he was up close, ready for the fight, and almost feels like maybe he was a little too close. The barrel could have been poking through the smoke, or it was blind fire,
Yeah.
but either way,
It's the only spot, so I guess they would have spammed it anyway.
yeah, I think it's hard to even detect because of one step further back. Oh, that's a missed shot. An opportunity for DRX as they close in the distance, but Loud doesn't miss a second time.
Yeah, and the problem is that's the Blade Storm gone. That was the one real danger in this round that Loud had to face off against. Now they do have the Nightfall, but I think unless they get a kill or 2, it's probably not going to be something they want to try and use unless, well, you can see what happens when he does survive, even baiting for Bancada. As now it's left all onto Stacks. 1 versus 5, clearing him out is going to be an impossibility. He manages to get 2 kills, a nice couple of shots, but that will be all. Loud, 4th round on the board on this defensive side, and okay, now there's going to be a buy coming up, but it's whether or not DRX can break back.
Yeah, look, this is starting to become a commanding position from Loud. The fact that they are as far ahead as they are, and then the context of some of these rounds of the previous map in particular, losing out on that, the mentality of DRX is under a lot of strain. And, well, they'll be able to keep themselves happy and smiling, but if they lose this round, it becomes a much more dire situation, especially if they lose it in such a convincing way, right? They're coming in with their Nightfall, they're coming in with a rolling thunder as well, but Aspis had a fantastic game.
Are they gonna seize nade? I think they're gonna seize nade straight away. They haven't done it on this side of the map just yet, so they might even expect this to be for free. It is gonna be instantly bypassed, but they are gonna know that there's a player close, and Showstopper will get them what they wanted anyway.
Smoker down. A lot of control for DRX now that they can't afford to contest. I mean, the closest thing they have is, well, it's going to be that cloud burst coming out of Buzz. Not a great thing to be filling the gaps up with. No possibility of a res. Again, still having the Nightmare as well as the Rolling Thunder.
The thing is, it's a really powerful ult combination on that A site, but that's why you see the challenge from Loud. Like, they wanted to deny that early space, even using the showstopper just to make sure they garner an extra kill. And now you almost have to wonder, do you want to gamble back into that as DRX, or are you just looking to try and reset and play someone else? And they are going to go in that direction because it's still a very good way to get an afterplan. But you can see how passive the defense is currently. They will fall straight out of the site and play retake.
Yeah, they've been here for like 20 seconds now, just playing way, way back. And this is the thing, Loud are fully aware. You look at DRX, how are they going to get into a site? Well, they're not going to be smoking angles and pushing. The most likely thing for them to do is to make this commitment.
Yeah.
Double ult in, take the space, so they'll at least get themselves on the site. But Loud are happy with that trade because they're in a position now, faking out the updraft is interesting.
There's a player out there. Yep. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, it would have been a nice fake, but it hasn't done too much. And Pancada actually going to stick that deep control. He has bypassed RB. And this fight's going to be everything. If he can find this kill, there's a good chance, but Buzz has just come up with 2. This round looked like such a good position, and instead now RB pinces from behind. The remaining 2 trying to get back in, fighting through. It's into a 2 versus 2. What? That's just 1. What a swing round coming back. It's left onto RB. The man who was in the back lines, they know exactly where he is. Sassy trying to guard him. And somehow, once again, Loud come out on top.
That has got to be such a horrible position to be in as the attackers.
It's a backbreaker.
4v2 again. And it's off this drop down from up above. Buzz getting the kill. They even catch the flank. It seemed all the danger men were gone, but they can't close these rounds out. 2 now in recent memory that they've lost, and this has got to be exactly like you said. It's a backbreaker. They're going to be calling a timeout. That's DRX's. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised to hear. And I think they're going to be talking through some meditation techniques for the next 30 seconds.
That's the thing. There is a reason why Sadak and Sassy have been on the top Brazilian team throughout the entirety of the VC team. There is a reason why a roster was built around them. Like, we know for a fact that players like Sassy had offers in Europe.
Yep.
Like, there were teams that wanted this man, but he stuck around in Brazil and is now again on the top team in Brazil. Well, I guess you could say the whole of Latin America. The fact is, you're now looking at this retake coming through, and it was just superb. The fact that they had the setup, one player pushing Buzz out into a position which leads it straight into Sadak, it must be so difficult to play against. And well, 5-1, DRX, they've taken that timeout, Mitch, but honestly, at this point, you've almost just got to go, okay, we need to calm ourselves down. We have lost some silly rounds here.
You know, if you've got a short-term memory, it might be kind of hard to think about Loud in this light, but the event before last, they were grand finalists.
Yeah.
Then they came in and they couldn't get out of groups, but the group they had Optic in it. It was Crew, the regional matchup, and that can be tough for any team. Now they're coming in
and Guild as well. That was like the group of death. It was a horrible, horrible group. Crew didn't make it out either.
Yeah. You know, you look at DRX right now, and it was very much feeling like after that first half, that mold was broken, that it was shattered, but now it looks like it could be their mental that's shattered, and I wouldn't blame them. A tough game so far, and it's only getting tougher. This eco round sees absolutely nothing. 6-1.
I love the setups from Loud. They are changing the way they play every single round. I don't think there's been a single round so far in this half that has been the same. The C-site setup, every round has been Les takes a fight, he TPs out, they play retake. This time, Les TPs out, Pancada is deep. Nobody checks the corner, he gets a multi-frag. Like, they are just putting in little details that you go, okay, you know we're doing this, you know we're doing this, you know we're doing this, we're not doing this. And every single time, it seems like DRX are fooled. Loud are playing a magnificent game right now.
Eliminated again and again or knocked to lower brackets. Both of these teams have seen Optic far more times than they'd want to. The next game up for the winner here will be Xset or Optic, a chance to maybe take some revenge, and for now it looks like it'll be Loud who have that chance. 6-1 in the lead, but a bye round for DRX. All of these players towards the A site. This has been the hotly contested zone, and so Loud will have a late play to try and take some control. A Prowler, 2 players spotted. They definitely heard two different guns, a Vandal and a Phantom, fire off, so they know at this point you've got a bunch of presence outside the A site, so they'll stick with their 3 players in position. Breach ready to counter flash out on long.
Nightfall
Buzz is inside of them.
Oh, well, he's just been caught out. They've sectioned them apart with the ult. The push through, just unable to get anything, and now Sadak just looking to try and slow them down. It's the TP from Marco, though. This is an insane play from him, but even still, it's not even going to be close to enough. The rest of his team died just seconds before he made that move. And although the distraction garnered 3 kills, it still was fairly comfortable for Loud.
The Brazilians leading 7-1. Korea not looking too hot right now. This was DRX's map pick, and we had concerns on the mental level coming in, and I'm not sure they've had a chance to even reach any of that. Loud have dominated. The A plan has been working again and again. They seem to have a lot of A plans.
The game that's being called by Sudak may be one of the best we've ever seen. Like, they have had the read every single round. Like, the fact that they hold the Nightfall just to try and basically dismantle the A take, it's just fantastic. I don't think they've had an ultimate that hasn't had impact, which is just absurd. That doesn't happen very often at all. And once again, back down to some SMGs, some pistols. Okay, you got lockdown. Lockdown,
especially on this map.
There's a breach.
There's very minimal positions you can use it from, and wherever you do use it from, they can probably aftershock it.
Yeah. Maybe on the, I think we've seen on the defensive side just some incredibly passive A1s that have worked out, but you're hoping for a miracle.
50 seconds on the, on the clock as DRX make their way out on long. Tucked in. This is a bait setup, and they haven't given it away at all. Still, it will be cleared. Sassy holds on for one, and Aspis with the trade. They've got the spike now, and he falls back to watch this short pinch. He knows Zest is going to want to support his teammates on the way through, even with the flash in play. A Prowler, but 2 players watching him. There was no way he was getting any more than 1. And with the spike down on long and 2 players spotted, they know they've got the info to work off of. Still to follow up on the kills, and the TP out of corner might cause a bit of a problem, but there's only 20 seconds left. So where are they going to go with the spike with such limited time? They're only going one way. That's straight into the site to their deaths.
Spike down A. 10 seconds left.
Wow. Again, 8-1. We've seen responses from DRX throughout this tournament, but most of the time it's been in that first map. Most of the time, as said, they haven't had to have a mental reset. It's been in the map itself that they've been able to turn things around, and well, I think they're getting a taste of their own medicine here. They let it slip when it comes to Breeze. They've now come into their choice, and it's not looking good. And I don't want to take away credit from Loud. I think they are playing an excellent game in terms of the reads, ults, individual brilliance. But at the same time, you expect DRX to have more than just one.
Well, for Loud, this is a team that was denied playoffs last time. Grand finalists before, and they're looking to repeat the first event of the year. 8-1 in the lead. A dominant scoreline for their defense starting it out, and whatever you think about DRX's defensive capabilities, I think even Seth would find it hard to find a positive here. The silver lining, pretty dull unless opening it up again. He hasn't been getting a ton of kills, but he hasn't been dying a lot either. This time, that changes with RB overrunning C.
Yeah, we've seen him step up. They only have 1 kill up until this point. Nice shots from Zest. Starting to see a little bit of the DRX we know and love. 4 players survive, a second round onto the board. And that's the thing, Mitch. If they can streak this back to 4, if they can give themselves a little bit of a lifeline, there is still very much a chance of resurgence. The thing is, though, this looks far more like a blip on the radar, at least for now.
It was a big round from RB. We've seen some of those and solid connections from Zest, but that is a round 1 off of aim duels going their way, and that has not been the story of this game so far. A long road to recovery. Let's talk about it. If they can push to 4, great. Pistol under their belt, they win the first of the series for them? Maybe. But the reality is right now, Loud have everything to work with. They've got their ultis online, Tour de Force is in, Rolling Thunder, and Showstopper. So many safety nets, and sure, DRX have their own, but they haven't been able to do anything with it so far. Sadik down after 1, and RB with another back-to-back big rounds. That might just be what they need.
Yeah, if RB could just get triple kills every single round, I think they'll be in a pretty good spot. The aggressive attempt this time didn't work out, and they are playing it so safe.
No breach.
Just put that lockdown into play. Yeah, there's no counter for it this time out. Pancada is coming in on that flank, but it's something they have to be watching for. Not many angles that he can be really pincering him from behind, although that one's free. They do have a little bit of a crossfire, though, that I think will be tough to break.
Once that alarm ball went down, the timing was perfect for Pancada to sneak on by, but he'll be caught after just the element of surprise, all that put him ahead in those duels with Les now, the last man standing. He's got 3 shots left in his tour de force, 3 targets to find, and he uses 1, 2, in fact, to break. Utility, here's a paranoia, can't break that one, and they know he's not defusing. This round's already over.
8-3. As said, if they can get to 4, especially after the half they've had, especially with how dominant the majority of rounds are, excluding the 2v4, it would give them something to play with at least.
That was my face too. Yep. Pretty good spray down.
They've also got a hell of a lot of ults. Rolling Thunder, Nightfall, Blade Storm. Okay, there's some on the other side as well, and with how many set plays there have been for Loud, it looks like they might be setting up for another one. A trap play on this A site where we've seen a lot of early pressure from DRX so far.
Seasonade going in, players were there, but they've fallen back, and the TP out of Mako just to bait the sound, so they use up utility. 4 players from Loud towards this A site, and the immediate response from DRX, they have left entirely, fled to C, and that ult is going to catch the information. They know exactly where Les is, and he has to leave. Couldn't even hear the steps as they made it close, so timing was all that it was about.
They've held the Rolling Thunder. So there's one on both sides, but it means that they can almost counter it, use it to try and stop the defuse. RB again is going to be finding the early kill in this round, and Aspas trying to clear things out with that showstopper. The Boombot's actually going to do more damage, it seems, as he is running out of fuel. Oh! Marco's managed to survive in this backline. That could be a really nasty surprise. Rounds the corner, not ready for him. And his teammates starting to dwindle, starting to fall. It's left all onto Sassy, and the time surely is gone.
It must be. There's too many players to clear out. Loud have been criminals for 4v2s, for clutches, but with another 3K round from RB, it seems we found the formula. Just let this man kill them all. And the best part is, he had, what, 3Ks back-to-back, and he ends on 10 kills. What a resurgence from RB. Let's toss it off to the desk and see if the momentum can carry DRX through.
8-4 in favor of Loud, but what a big comeback of rounds that we saw there from DRX and Benka. I want to start with you, buddy, because, you know, it felt like at one point that this was just going to be Loud with a clean 2-0 win, at the very least where we were at the first half.
Yeah, so I would say Loud started really strong.
Yeah,
DRX had their pretty good side executes, but the problem with that is that a lot of it are set plays, which doesn't really have a lot of room for creativity in terms of on-the-fly calls. And you could see Loud taking advantage of the way that DRX had their defaults. So their default would be they'll just hang around, take A lobby control, wait until 1 minute, make a call. Yeah, and every time Loud would do a few plays to disrupt that A lobby presence and really take control of the map, like especially Aspas. Like on round 4, he took the initiative of going and flanking that C-long area and just holding them off there. And another round on round 6 where he just used his raise out to clear that Omen on that A default, and it really helped them like secure that A lobby presence and push DRX into the other side of the map.
Yeah, it was really good out of Loud in particular, and I think a lot of this first half was kind of shown by the head-to-head between these two comps. DRX went back to Comfort, and Loud led into the comp that a lot of people are playing, where the power comes down to the initiators and the retakes, and we saw it just there in that round. They're really good at these coordinated set plays to reclaim space on the map, particularly when Aspas is so proactive with taking space and finding those flanks.
Yeah, but now I think this is a situation, Seth, where, you know, DRX, they're going to have to get their mental in check. They can't come back, but they have to win some dang pistols in order to do it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I'm looking for as we get ready to swap sides. They need to have a firm pistol round. I mean, if you look at it historically, Haven, they've been more attackers favored rather than defender sided, so they need to kick things off strongly. RB, he's starting to heat up. Mako is right there with him. We're seeing those shades of those players that we did get the glimpses of on Breeze, but Stax in particular, he is now the IGL player of this squad. It has changed hands once more from Zest to him. He's taken up that mantle, and up until this point, up until this series, it has been looking utterly fantastic, but he is the linchpin. If he falls apart, the whole thing comes tumbling down.
Yeah, you see him getting frustrated in some of those reactions. DRX need to keep their mental in check. This game is not away from them yet, but it feels like in history, this 5-6 curves has come down to the emotion. It's come down to them getting deep and things slipping away. They don't want that to happen again. They're not out of this game. They're not out of this series. They need to collect because there's still a good chance of them to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if they can close this out, if they can bring this one back, it is going to reinvigorate them, and Icebox absolutely can be theirs.
Well, let's see if that's going to happen or not. Can DRX bounce back, or will Loud shut them out with a 2-0 win? Mitch and Tom, over to you.
Well, Tom, at an 8-4 scoreline, it is tough to believe in DRX. They move to their defense, but take a look at that stat down the bottom. 63% attacking round win rate.
We're trying to build hope and storylines here. This sounds quite bleak.
Well, let me give you a little storyline.
Perk it up a little bit?
Buzz has had a pretty poor performance at every international event he's been at. Now he comes into this one, second to Ye, looked incredible. But again, when it gets to this stage of the tournament, we see a different DRX. We see a choky DRX. And right now, it looks like Vader's got his grip on them. Loud planting in, they've got it for free on C, and a retake attempt in the pistol for DRX. They have won 0 out of 3 so far. They need this one to give them a foothold.
They have a lot of utility to get back in. The stuns, the paranoias. This is where DRX were at their best, was in the retakes.
Great nade.
Now they've already managed to at least stun up some of these players. RB on the way back through is going to get one, but it's a little disjointed. They're reliant on Buzz to lead the charge, and they're just getting slaughtered. It's left all onto Stax, and he gets nothing done. It will be 9-4. Loud, they convert every pistol, maybe in the whole series. Because the fact is, DRX now need to fight back.
They need to fight back from this position, and it certainly ain't pretty. Look at this nade that came through. It was actually a little bit earlier. You saw it get thrown down by Aspis as they put all that utility you mentioned, Tom, into play. They were stunning, they were blinding, they were looking to seize the space, and in that moment, we had a nade go through that stopped the push entirely. It ruined the timing of DRX, something that they were so good at on Breeze, if you remember, and now it's come back to bite them on Loud side.
But that's the thing, historically, they were always fantastic on the retakes of this map, but yeah, the fact that Loud are so prepared for that is great. Oh, it's a little awkward, but they'll spam him through in the end. And now in an afterplant scenario, again, there's barely anything to play with here, Mitch.
Yeah, look, even the guy coming up behind is going to be caught by the trap. You don't have the element of surprise for Zest. There you go. Little sound cue, and that's all they need. Sassy picking up Buzz. They know there's one waiting for them behind.
I don't think so.
I mean, with the classics, it's already hard enough, but once these guys have the map control contained and they know where to focus, able to take duels as a team, there's not really much that you can do. This is double digits for Loud, locked in, guaranteed, and the only question remaining is whether Zest can even manage to just get close to being die at this point, but he wants to do damage on the way back out. But remember, he triggered the trap a little earlier, so they're staying well away from him.
I guess the main thing is just don't die to Sassy. Allow him to have Nightfall online going into the first fire round.
That would be a nightmare.
Yeah, it would be. Nonetheless, we now get the purchase from DRX. And I feel like it has to be a confident response. Even winning this round with like 2 players alive, it's not going to fill me with anything but worry.
You know what they're saying right now? Well, if DRX can do it, wait, we are.
Nice, nice.
They should be able to bring this across the line. They've had the clutches
We
before.
can do it. We can do it. I don't think you should be giving inspirational speeches anytime soon.
No, they've done it before. They can do it now. There's 6 rounds between them. But Loud, again, are setting their sights on the C site. And look at how quickly they're approaching. But Aspis is being caught in the stun. Fantastic. The trades, though, ever in Loud's favor. Stack stuck on the back site. He's got one for free. They've left him completely unaccounted for. Maybe a chance here with the reposition being fantastic. He'll be traded out, but he's done well enough to equalize.
Yeah. He's given them a chance, and he's bought time, more importantly. They should have an idea. The Buzz is on the flank, although he's going to do some extra damage. The fight versus Pancada is a little awkward, and his teammate Zest can't really find an angle to take this fight. In fact, they're going to pressure him. They're going to push him, and in this corner might be a nasty surprise. I don't think they'll expect it. DRX, they will bounce back, give themselves a 5th, but again, it was costly and had to be a strong performance from Stax.
It really did, but he put up the hold in the moment that matters. He answered their call, 5 rounds between them. But the problem here, Tom, is that this was a close round. It looked good from the perspective of winning a round for DRX, but the reality is it came close, and that wasn't the buy round.
It was mostly Spectres.
Yeah.
Unless with a double opener is still something to worry about. Now, I will say I kind of expect DRX to almost play a retake setup again. You just look at the ults that they have, it's sublime to go in for those retakes. Instead, though, Loud challenging mid early, and you can see that Buzz is already set up with deep A control. Loud are more than happy to just try and put this pressure on elsewhere.
There's 120 on the clock, so much time to work with. Seems they know that RB's in this corner and they want him gone. Cost him a bit of HP, bit of utility. He's going back in to reclaim that control. As Loud attempt to really drag those rotations, the only man watching this cross is Buzz, and the smoke now denies the information. This could be a fake, but it's not. The entirety of the attacking side seems to be shifting towards this A side. But as you said, it's likely to see a retake setup from these guys. Rolling Thunder and Nightfall to work with. They currently are playing on the site. They want to hold this and not give Loud any ground.
I wonder if he's going to use it. The problem is he's being hit by utility. Buzz does well, and then Zest is able to pounce off the back of it. Sassy alongside Les. 2v4. Dare I say it.
They've lost these before on DRX.
Yep, that was it.
Sassy and Les making their way in, and ult's still online. 1 kill, and they might trigger it. They might pull it. Looks like they're going to be moving back to long to work together on this. Les has a TP to get out of here. He needs to put his second one down. Wants to claim some space, but 10 seconds left. It's now or never, and it looks like they'll make the call for the latter.
Yeah, good from DRX. Like, they've kept this one cleaner than the last, and it was mainly just off the team play, the interplay from Buzz and Zest. I was a little bit worried with the utility coming through that Zest might not be able to swing off that. But the fact that he gets a couple and then stays alive is crucial to the round. Economy for Loud's a little bit weird, though, because you still have the Nightfall. Okay, you're not going to have yourself the tour de force right off the bat, but if you can collect an orb, maybe get a kill, things might get a little bit interesting.
I love those classes, man. 10-6, 4 rounds between them. DRX coming in still with the ability to play retake on those ultis, but ultis are starting to get pretty close for Loud as well. You know, with the rounds that they've got, a decent buffer to work with, they're definitely not out of hot water just yet. It looks like when we talked about the garage play last round, they didn't really manage to push RB out of it. This time they're going to change it up and look for B, and already Aspis up close in the smoke. A Stinger is going to catch him with ult down. That is a huge mistake from Stacks, and they double up with RB down. This eco round for Loud might just get them a whole lot of reward. Another!
Oh my god, how is Aspis getting so much done? That was one of the weaker weapons that they had, and now they're sat in an afterplant. 1 away from having the Rolling Thunder, and in fact they're going to throw in the Nightfall now. Just get that extra information, take away some of the HP and remove all the sound so they can just sprint back through. Marco, he's trying his best just to stick this, but he's going to go down to the Aftershock. Loud with an explosive round, grant themselves 11, and DRX, well, they've got to feel a little foolish, but I'll be honest, could you really expect Aspis to do that?
No, listen, you can expect him to be on the site, you can expect him to swing, but he was all the way up in their face, in their spawn. That said, Stacks on that swing, without the cover, without the player to trade, I mean, that is just a massive mistake. The problem is both players that were on that side wanted to use their ult. Yeah. That was the issue.
Well,
you didn't have a third guy to watch it.
One through a Prowler, and while he's throwing the Prowler, he's about to ult. So it just missed timing.
It's an oversight. It's a small thing, and then the only risk was that he would be there. Yeah. Unfortunately, he was. And now, look what they've got. A Rolling Thunder and a Showstopper coming into this round. Ulti's used on DRX's side previous. They don't have their Nightfall to work with. And their economy is on its last legs, Tom. If they lose this, they're down and out, but they've taken less to start.
Yeah, and that will at least give them a Blade Storm for the next round as a worst case. Again, though, some utility being burnt out by Aspis. It does seem like the plan is to go back towards that C site, at least for now. They're really trying to battle a little bit versus Marco. The real fight is going to be between them and RB, though, who's actually starting to rotate back. This might give up quite a bit of control.
Well, that Rolling Thunder's just putting the turret out of position, although it's still going to catch them on the way through. But the only damage that comes from it is, well, from RB is the turret. Showstopper right into the back. Pancata's already dead. They're starting to clean up some kills on DRX, but they haven't dealt with Aspas. The site is theirs, the plant can be as well, and Buzz is a little too far away to capitalize on these kills. Oh, he's dodged the hunt.
Yeah, 20 seconds left. He might be able to make a move as they go for the plant, but he's not going to win the battle. Sassy holding the angle, lands the instant headshot. And now, as you mentioned, DRX, well, saying they're on their last legs would be an understatement. They're in critical condition as they're going to come in with a weak purchase, a Blade Storm on Buzz, a lockdown, which, as we've mentioned, is, especially on this map, just so incredibly weak. I'm intrigued to see what they even try and pull out here.
We saw the last 3 rounds of the previous half have RB multiply his kills by 10 across those 3. When he got up to 10, he's now sat on 12. Yep, some decent rounds, 3 decent rounds, but outside of that, DRX have struggled. Their heroes haven't been here, and as we said, Buzz, second on the stats board for this event. He hasn't been showing up. He's been shut down every step of the way, and it is yet again the case. Blade Storm removed. Good kill for Stax. The spam back is strong. He was decayed so much, but his health is coming back. Makes it a little easier, but that lockdown isn't going to get the space they wanted out of it. RB with a drop, but only 1, and it's falling apart. Cloud are able to close it with 3 quick kills, and for the second time, they will be going to the upper finals versus a North American team. This year has been fantastic for this team. A hiccup at the previous event, but since that, they've come into this looking revitalized. An unbelievable game played here today.
But that's the thing, we questioned after Copenhagen if this team was going to be a one-hit wonder. Was it just something they came in one event, they had a great run in the upper bracket, and then it never happened again? Well, they've made the podium already. They are at the point where they will go either straight through into the grand final if they win their next match, or they head into that lower one anyway. Another fantastic tournament from this Brazilian squad. And well, let's put it this way. They have put their region on the map for a second time. This is the team that their Brazilian fans are going to support. And for DRX, unfortunately, history has repeated itself once again.
They made a mistake over on Loud versus Crew in the previous event, and then they lost to Optic, a team that's garnered the respect internationally, event in and event out. Then you move into the event before that, it was Optic that knocked them out there again. They just couldn't catch a break. After they beat them. But in the elimination match, they were gone. And now, here we are. They've made it through to the upper finals. They might even have a chance to face Optic again. Either that or it's going to be X set. Either way, it's the same flag on the other side of the stage, and an opportunity to once again defeat the North Americans and walk into the grand finals as the first team in there.
And that's the thing. I feel like going through in this sort of playoff bracket right now, they're the team that I feel like is most complete in terms of every single member having a solid tournament. Like, you look at the top of this game, you've got Sadak and Sassy, the experienced men on the block leading the charge. Aspas has been having some better games over the last couple. Pancata has probably been one of the best players in this tournament, and that's before you even mention Les. So it is really exciting seeing just the sheer depth that this roster has, but also now showing in this game that they also have resilience. Because in that first map, we were basically calling it done. We were like, okay, we're going to go into this one. It'll be the same as before. We'll go into map 2, the choice of DRX, and they will manage to run it all the way through. The problem is DRX hadn't taken a loss so far, and the second they lose a map, unfortunately, it seems they've fallen back into old habits.
And that's the real scary thing for DRX. You know, they were in such a good spot after that first map. We saw it. We saw it time and time again this event. They pushed to OT every time. They've had these incredibly long, I think one of their maps was like an hour and 36 minutes. The last OT one that they hit, it wasn't even us. Yeah. And then they come in here, they failed to hit that OT. They failed to close a game that looked unlosable.
Do they face Fnatic now? Like that's going to be a nasty game to fall into the lower bracket. But that's all things to come. We're going to be looking much closer to home. The in-zone MVP, Aspas, Sadak, Les Pancata. As said, there is consistency within this team. You genuinely could put every single member on the list. I almost feel like the fact that the board isn't on there is a little bit offensive. Like, come on, guys. Like, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm even wearing green.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I feel like that's not actually a dig at Sassy. That's more of a dig at me, but I guess I'll just have to accept it.
Yeah, he wears the green a little bit better, unfortunately. Look, this has been an incredible game. I was expecting a third map. I thought we'd see the icebox, especially after the first went
Don't forget to like, share, comment,
kind
and
of Cloud's
subscribe.
way. It was a close one.
I can
Devastating.
do it
We'll find out
often
whether
in
it's a rematch of Optic or whether
again.
it's XSET. That's the next match up to determine your
Tomorrow,
second upper
next
finalist.
streaming, maybe.
Go.
I don't
We're
know.
gonna go to
I
a break.
can stream
We'll be
in
back in a
YouTube
bit.
or Twitch.